If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth Podcast. My name is Rob Kaiser, and I am your host. Today is Monday, May 23rd, 2022. This is episode number 354 of a show that provides insight and tools to build the life and homestead of your dreams. And since it is a Monday, we are going to dive into a Men of Order Monday topic and take a look at what's trending before diving into one of those articles in depth. You can learn more about Men of Order at menoforder.com. And let's just to set the record straight, I want to describe what Men of Order is as it is described in the search engines, so I am not doing it a disservice. Men of Order is an archive of masculinity and mindset advice columns to help mature men acquire wealth and power. I know what you're thinking. Maybe this sounds like some kind of JBP, dude bro, frat boy type of blog. And you know, if you just want to jump to conclusions and not check anything out there, that's cool. But if you want to learn more about money, dating, mindset, sports, tech, and culture, we've got some great authors, of which I am one, and you can learn all sorts of articles. There's a wealth of articles there on, like I said, money, dating, mindset, sports, tech, culture, and an entire section dedicated to the Joe Rogan Experience, with episodes broken down with timestamps, everything you need to get all the information you want without putting in 2 to 3 hours of your time in a show. Not that that's a bad thing, but we all can't do that because there's a lot of great content out there. menoforder.com, check it out. And today, the trending topics as of this moment, May 23rd, 2022, are red flags in women. 5 types every man needs to avoid, and that's by the Wasted Talent podcast. We've got the top 3 alternatives to Gmail by Kamar Daniel, who's our in-house tech guy. We've got emergency baby formula alternatives by Jev. Jev also manages the JRE section. We've got 6 exercises to optimize your masculinity by Cassius Cam. And we've got an article by Nick Demondi titled "Inflation is About to Get Worse Before It Gets Worse." I've talked about some Gmail alternatives before. I kind of want to talk about inflation is about to get worse before it gets worse and see what Nick has to say. So I'm going to read this article, I'm going to share it with you, and then you can find the article in the show notes, which I may not have an opportunity to update until later today, but when I do, it will be there. So if you're listening to this in the future, it's probably there. If you're listening to this first thing Monday morning, show notes might not be updated yet. So here we go. Inflation is about to get worse before it gets worse by Nick Demondi. This is a 10,000-foot view of what is happening in the global economy and where smart money is investing. It's not news to say that nothing in the economy is going well, and I mean nothing. The latest numbers from the Bureau of Labor Statistics show that inflation is up 8.3% year over year. But that number is a misnomer. It's widely known that the CPI numbers from the federal government are optimistic at best. The calculations are opaque, as is the reporting, so remember that the numbers you are being told can vary widely from state to state and time of year. It's also a misleading number because CPI is an average of inflation across a dozen or so industries and economic sectors. You could have a decrease in cell phone plans, but then an increase in overall food prices, and the numbers would be averaged out. But if most of your expenses are in food, gas, and clothing, then you are encountering a much higher rate of inflation than the average is letting on. The inflation hitting your wallet could be 10, 20, or even 40%. All that to say, it's going to get worse before it's going to get worse. The government printed a lot of money over the past 3 years, and that bill is coming due. The Fed has injected over $10 trillion into the economy in the form of PPP loans, stimmy checks, bailouts, and other hornswoggle. In fact, the chart for the M2 money supply, the total supply of money in the economy in the form of liquid cash or near money, looks like a meme coin chart. And there are some charts in the article listed here indicating the change in the near money supply. Links in the article here called Inflation is an Opportunity, menoforder.com, inflation-is-and-opportunity. And surprisingly, he's not wrong. The change in the M2 money supply, ironically, does look like the Dogecoin price chart. Anyways, it takes time for all the money to sift down into the economy and start affecting the price of goods. The elites know a bunch of liquidity is flushed into the market, so stocks take off. But then as money sifts down into the economy, these dollars have become high velocity money, and it hits consumer goods hard and fast. This is coupled with a global supply chain problem that is its own Gordian knot of bad policy, COVID lockdowns, vaccine mandates, systemic inefficiencies, and plain old screw-ups. For instance, the Port of Long Beach, California. It handles 80 million tons of cargo on a good year, but back in 2021, longshoremen working at the port had their hours cut. This apparently had to do with the infighting between the union, the port, and the state of California on how to handle the backlog. Supply chains are the definition of rigid and complex. Any disruption to a supply chain can have implications that last years. Just look at how a minor disruption in the manufacturing of baby formula has caused it to start disappearing off the shelves just as a global famine is looming. As a man of order, this is the time to steel yourself and meet the problem head on. You can do that by making the necessary life adjustments now to weather the storm later. But there is a saying from Warren Buffett, the oracle from Omaha, that rings true as we teeter on the edge of a multi-year recession. Quote, "Be fearful when others are greedy, and greedy when others are fearful." Close quote. This is your moment to make life-changing wealth. If you keep your powder dry and laser focus on improving your financial position, you can sweep the floor and capitalize on a once-in-a-generation fire sale on financial assets. Other men of order have covered the basics on shoring up your finances. Check out their work here and here. Links in the show notes. I'm going to break down the not-so-secret sauce on the basic tenet of investing to point you in the right direction. Everything should be researched to the fullest before taking a position on any investment, just like you would for anything in your life. Let's break down what is going to happen. Real estate. I hate to say it, but real estate is not going to dive as much as many are hoping. There is still a dearth of new homes, and the rising interest rates are going to keep real estate out of reach for many. But if you keep an eye out, there will be opportunities to purchase starter homes, duplexes, or vacation property. Keep in mind, during these years of tightening, you'll need a high credit score and a large down payment to make the deal happen. Crypto. The bear market for crypto is going to be dark and full of terrors. On the plus side, that means when the blockchains start another bull run, which is determined by the Bitcoin halving, the gains will be massive. But the crypto market doesn't coincide with the traditional stock market and will probably recover slower than Wall Street. In any case, keep your crypto in a cold wallet until the bears go back to their dens. Stonks. The question isn't when stocks will tank. The question is, how low will it go? Some are saying this recession will outpace the 2008 crash by an order of magnitude. For the safest plays, stick to mutual funds. Buying in individual stocks will reap larger gains, but you'll need to give them more attention so you don't get wrecked. Precious metals. It's never a bad idea to have some precious metals on tap in case shit hits the fan. As a store of value, gold and silver are kind of meh, but no financial analyst is going to say that owning a bar or two of gold is a bad investment. Make your gold purchases through reputable sellers and get in the habit of self-custody. High-tech commodities. The demand for materials to make batteries is going to increase over the next decade as global green initiatives ramp up the electrification of everything that moves. Lithium, cobalt, nickel, and their mining companies are going to see an update that other commodities won't. When you see a lot of fear and worry in the market, that's your cue to take note of what's happening in the world. The paper hands and the failures of getting wrecked, but the paper hands and the failures are getting wrecked, but the smart money is timing their purchases. Don't try to catch a falling knife. Wait for things to flatline. Then make methodical investments that make sense for your risk tolerance. Who dares wins. All right, guys, that's what we've got on and for a 10,000-foot view of what's happening in the global economy and where smart money is investing, according to Nick Diamandi from Men of Order. And indeed, I'm inclined to agree that inflation is about to get worse before it gets worse. There are some good points made on real estate, crypto, stocks, precious metal, and high-tech commodities. Lithium is one that I have been keen on for a little while and something that I've been watching for a couple of years, lithium mines specifically. I'd like to talk more about this, but the reality is, guys, I've got to get going. I've got to run up to the big city. I've got an appointment this morning, again, at the Cleveland Clinic. So I'm going to have to cut this short. But again, check out the show notes for links to this article, which again is titled, well, I just lost power. I don't know what happened here, but the article was titled, Inflation is About to Get Worse Before It Gets Worse. So guys, that's it. Like I said, I wish I had a little bit more time to expand on some of this, but quite frankly, I don't have the time. So check it out, t.me/allaroundgrowth to engage in more dialogue about this article and more. And I look forward to tomorrow's episode on Tuesday to talk about the top 10 trending Twitter topics. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away, and I wonder why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. Whoa, whoa. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. You know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. You're an